Hello, Songjun, Sohu, Yuna, Jaime and Limey. Today's Boxing Day in England. Now, Boxing Day, if I'm correct, is when all in the past, Christmases long ago, all the rich people would take any leftover presents or unwanted presents and any leftover food and put them in boxes and give them to all the poor people the day after Christmas. Hence, Boxing Day, not Boxing Day, unfortunately. Anyway, today, and the last one probably for Christmassy stories, is A Christmas Carol. Now, this is my favourite story in the whole world. If you get the chance, see the movie. It's on YouTube called Scrooge. Okay, so A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now, this is an adaptation for you children. Scrooge was hard and sharp as flint. The cold within him froze his old features and made his eyes red and his thin lips blue. He was a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, and miserly man. Not a very nice man at all. Scrooge's business partner, Jacob Marley, had been dead 7 years. But the sign over the office still said Scrooge and Marley. So there's Scrooge in part of London. And there's the Scrooge and Marley sign, and there's everyone else as Christmas approaches. It was Christmas Eve and Scrooge was busy at work. Across the room, Bob Cratchit tried to warm himself at his candle. Scrooge was too mean to put more coal on the fire. "Merry Christmas, Uncle!" cried a cheerful voice. "I am collecting money for the poor." It was Scrooge's nephew Fred. "Bah!" said Scrooge. "Humbug!" "At least come for dinner with us tomorrow," said Fred. "Bah!" said Scrooge again. "Humbug!" And here's Fred, and there's Bob Cratchit trying to keep warm at his desk, and there's Scrooge bar humbugging Christmas. Oh, you might regret that. At last it was time to close the office. Bob Cratchit hurried home, but not before stopping to slide down an icy hill. It was Christmas Eve after all. So there we are. I wonder if any of them are Tiny Tim. Who knows? Christmas Eve was the same as any other day to Scrooge. His house was dark and dreary. Darkness was cheap, and Scrooge liked it. As Scrooge sat alone, he heard a strange noise, like someone dragging heavy chains up the stairs from the cellar. "Humbug," said Scrooge. "I don't believe it." Here's Scrooge wondering what that chain sound is. What could it be? What do you think it is? Do you think it's Marley's ghost? But Scrooge's face changed colour when a familiar figure appeared. "I am the ghost of Jacob Marley," cried the figure, clanking the chains it dragged behind it. "You will be haunted by 3 ghosts, Scrooge. The first when the clock strikes 1. So there's Jacob Marley's ghost with his big chain, and there's Scrooge cowering behind the chair, being told about the 3 ghosts that will visit. Later that night, Scrooge awoke to the dong of the church bell. Suddenly, the room filled with light, and Scrooge found himself face to face with a strange figure. "Who are you?" asked Scrooge. "I am the ghost of Christmas past," said the figure. "Follow me." So there's the ghost of Christmas past about to take Scrooge. Well, where is she? She's going to take him back to the Christmases of past. The ghost showed Scrooge many Christmases from his past. "I was a boy here," said Scrooge. It showed him the Christmas when Scrooge was alone, left to spend the holidays at school all alone. It showed him a Christmas party given by his boss Fezziwig. Fezziwig's Christmas party. Whoa! Oh, Fezziwig made us all so happy. So there's Scrooge alone at Christmas and at Fezziwig's party at the bottom there. Finally, the ghost showed Scrooge to Christmas he left Belle, his one true love, to concentrate on making money. Not cool. "Show me no more." There's Scrooge. Oh, and there's his love. And he breaks up with her because all he wants to do is make lots of money. Dong! Scrooge woke in his bed again. When he opened the door to the next room, green leaves decorated the walls, and the loveliest Christmas foods were heaped on the floor. In the middle of the food sat a jolly giant. "Come in, know me well," boomed the giant. "I am the ghost of Christmas present." So here's Scrooge meeting the second ghost, who is just full of Christmas partiness and Christmas spirit. Look, everywhere. Christmas, yes. The second ghost showed Scrooge many different Christmases. First, it took him to Bob Cratchit's house. Although the Cratchits were poor, their little house was filled with happiness. "God bless us, everyone," said the sickly-looking Tiny Tim. "Will Tiny Tim live?" asked Scrooge. Then the ghost took Scrooge to his nephew's house, Fred. It was full of Christmas fun and laughter. In every house they visited, the ghost sprinkled Christmas cheer, the spirit of Christmas. So here they are in the first house, Bob Cratchit's house, with poor old Tiny Tim. And even Scrooge is concerned whether Tiny Tim's going to live. And then they go to his nephew's house, Fred, where it's just full swing of party, party, party. Dong! Uh-oh. The church bell struck again, and the ghost of Christmas present disappeared. In its place stood a tall, mysterious ghost, wrapped in a black cloak. "Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come?" asked Scrooge. The ghost said nothing, but just pointed forwards. "Lead on," said Scrooge. "I will follow you. Lead on." Here's that scary looking ghost. Oh, I think it's just the Grim Reaper, isn't it? Death. The third ghost showed Scrooge Christmases that had not yet happened. It showed him people talking about a man who died. The man had been so mean that no one missed him. I wonder who that man was. "My life is like this." It showed him Bob Cratchit's house before it had been full of noise, but now it was quiet and tiny. Tim's little chair stood empty. "Ah, Tim's maybe passed away." "Poor Tiny Tim," said Scrooge. Finally the ghost took Scrooge to a churchyard and pointed to a grave. Scrooge crept trembling towards it and read his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. "I can change, I promise," pleads Scrooge. Here's the ghost, showing him the people who were happy about a man dying. I wonder who that man was. Then they show Scrooge. Tiny Tim has passed away, and the Cratchit family are very sad. Then it shows Scrooge his own gravestone. Dun, dun, dun. Scrooge woke up and ran to the window. "What day is it?" he called to a boy outside. "Why, it's Christmas Day," replied the boy. "Ha!" laughed Scrooge. "I haven't missed it. Merry Christmas, everybody." Scrooge gave the boy money to buy the biggest turkey in the shop. "I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's," he laughed. "It's twice the size of Tiny Tim." That afternoon Scrooge went to dinner at his nephew's house. He was the perfect guest and joined in all the fun, and what's more, he gave a very large donation to the poor. So here he is, buying the turkey, being nice to everyone, and then he's at his nephew's house having a Christmas party with family. It's brilliant. The next morning Scrooge was at work extra early. "You're late," he growled. When Bob Cratchit arrived, "I'm not going to stand for this any longer. I'm going to raise your pay and try to help you and your family, Bob." Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and much, much more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. And so, as Tiny Tim said, "God bless us, everyone." And here he is, being nice to Bob Cratchit, raising his money, being nice to his family, and helping Tiny Tim to get healthy and better. So remember that, guys. It's nice to have a little bit of money, be comfortable, but you can't take that money to heaven, can you? Don't be greedy. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Blah, 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 blah.